Part of having healthy long hair and just being vegan plant-based is eating more vegetables. And here's squash. And I thought, I'm always trying to think of ways to get back into my old routines of like being very vegetable centric. So, yes, I have a lot of oatmeal. I'm firing up the oven right here. It's on. And I'm going to roast my kabocha squash. They're called, I Googled it. I think I'd had them years ago. Japanese pumpkin. And they're so cute. Look at them. They're very cute. And if you want to wait in the kitchen, you can throw around. You could even I guess it's letting me know 4 minutes have passed. I'm gonna get it ready for the oven. I have a way that I roast squash that I've done for years. So I don't cut it up because I feel like I don't know. I don't want to cut the squash that's not soft. I roast it. Some people do it a different way. I just roast it. Oh, look, it's a sparkly mask. So I take the squash right here and I just prick holes in it so that it can roast. I don't want to prick a lot of holes in it. And I don't think they're both going to fit in here. I think that one will fit in there. I have another little container. Another big pan kind of like capoodles. Another Pirates container. Is this a Pirates one? No, Anchor Hawking. They're all the same, really. Just glass baking capsule container thing. I'm just going to score this one. Okay, so back to the old days where I used to roast the. This one might roast different. I should have a bigger container for that one, but I'm just going to put it in. So, open the oven. Gingerly. Make sure your long hair is out of the way. That's a big part of baking. And oven. And here's this one. I tell it well because that's the one thing I can say in Arabic that my grandpa always said to us on our birthday, but I just say it all the time lately. So I'm like, well. Anyways, oh yeah. When I was at the store today, they have like, I almost bought. I know I said I wasn't gonna buy any bread, but I bought this Lebanese bread. It's really good with hummus. And I almost bought more because it was 79 cents. And I'm like, no, you don't need to eat more bread. It was really good with the hummus. Just like, yummy. So, I'm going to roast the kabocha squash. What else am I going to do? Let's think. I want to make my potatoes. So, let's see. I can buy everything that I want to eat. Not what other people want to eat anymore. So we stopped watching when I said that. I can't literally buy everything. Don't take it so seriously. I just mean I can buy what I want to eat. I'm not gonna like plain brown potatoes are okay, but red potatoes taste better. They just do, okay? I think that they do. So I don't even peel them, okay? Because I like the skin on the red potato. I'm just gonna rinse them off. I don't know how much. Let's see. Assembling everything. Here's my pan! I can make as many mashed potatoes as I want. Because I don't know, here's the thing. I love my mom and I always loved her cooking, but she would get like upset like if a guest ate too many potatoes or something. Like one time this girl was visiting and I ate a lot of the potatoes too, okay? And this girl ate them and my mom's like, oh my gosh, what about your dad? This is when I was young, okay? What about your dad? He's gonna want potatoes. I'm like, I don't know. He's over at his friend's house. He doesn't even eat. This was back when my dad was like, I don't know, he was barely eating. So I don't think he would have to see the food, but he wouldn't want to eat it or something. Just something stupid like that. I never would have catered to such nonsense. I'm like, you know what? I believe everybody over 18 should know how to advocate for themselves and eat what they want. Like, that's just self-sufficiency. Like, being an adult, know how to eat on your own. How other people eat has nothing to do with you. But if you're a secure adult, you know, but that's just my opinion. So I'm like, since I'm making Thanksgiving just for me and another family member, I can make as many flipping potatoes as I want. And I love potatoes. So nobody can tell me that I made too many mashed potatoes. Because I'm going to make them my way too. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to get, first, I'm going to get my cutting board. I want to chop them where you guys can see. I want it on the oven, so you need to move some things so I can cook. Like, I know people like to write notes and do other fun stuff, but stuff that'll go up there for now. So, and apple core, no, it can go over here. I have a small kitchen, and I love it sometimes, although I'm annoyed with my oven. Let's see how the kabocha squash is doing. Ooh, it's starting to roast up very nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my potatoes. I'm gonna wash them first. And I'm gonna cut them into beautiful, precise pieces, because if you're gonna cut something, take your time, make it an art form. Don't be a lazeball when it comes to cutting. Like, hand sanitizer. This one. Oatmeal's been sitting there. Anyways, I'm gonna cut potatoes. Okay. I'm gonna cut them into nice, tiny pieces so that when they're boiling in the water, once they're done, and I take the water out, I can just make my mashed potatoes, my vegan mashed potatoes. I'm gonna cut into very nice, precise, very tiny. This cutting is enjoyable. It's an art form. See? If you ever look at my other channel, Southern California Art and Mountain Life, I like to cook. I like to chop. Very tiny pieces. Taking your time. There's no rush. This is my motto. Size. I'm gonna cook them. And when I go to mash them, it's gonna make it so much easier because the more, like, I don't need a food processor. I'm my own food processor. Anyway. I haven't filled my pan with water yet. I'm making potatoes on a live stream. monitor how the squash is doing. Oh, you guys are getting to cook so nicely. Okay, I want to show you something. Some people will be freaked out about this, but this is something I did when I was a kid, and that my mom's mom, like, it's just like a family thing. Some people are like, oh, what can I do? I found this. I hate the big things in morning salt because I'm like, I don't want big, plain, boring salt. And maybe I'm paying more for it and I could season it myself and la da 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 on a stick. Okay. But I found black pepper seasoned salt, and it had paprika, turmeric, sugar, onion. It has like other things in it. So it's like flavorful. I would buy, okay, when I was a kid, there was this salt that my mom used to buy, like this seasoned salt. And I don't want like a big giant thing of salt because I'm not a big salt eater. But occasionally I like a little bit of salt when I cook and whatnot. But I undersalt my food, not oversalt. But okay, this is cool. So I would put some raw salt in a potato. Okay. I know they say you're not supposed to eat raw potatoes, but I don't know, it's just like this family tradition for us. And when I was a kid, whenever my mom was making potatoes, one time when I was really little, I asked her, like, why are you doing that? Like, aren't you supposed to cook the potatoes? And she goes, oh, I like to like have one slice. Like, I don't eat a whole bunch of it like that. But there's just something, I don't know, I really like about eating one slice. And it was something her mom taught her. And I'm sure it went back and back, like, you know, in time. Really like, and these red potatoes, they're just so good. I almost bought like a colorful pack of potatoes too, because I'm just like, I'm so over the brown potatoes. I'm just like, I don't know, they're okay, but I just like the red potato. It's more flavorful. It might be a little bit more expensive, but I'm like, I'm at this point in my life where if I'm going to buy something, I want to buy something I like that tastes good. That's what I want, like the purple onion and the scallions. Like, that's what I want, you know? So I'm going to buy that. Not the other thing. I love to cut things really tiny. I mean, I want to probably cut some of the pieces tinier, but it's just such big payoff because I don't, like, personally, I don't think I need a food processor. I can chop it up myself. And when you cut it nice and tiny like that, it's just going to cook better. It just is. Every time. You know? So I'm going to wash off more potatoes. Today is a cooking day. I decided that's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to cook. Need to make good food. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, like I said in my little walking live stream, I'm not a big meat eater, so I don't. I mean, I don't eat meat now. But even back when I did, I wasn't like even when I did eat some turkey, I never really loved turkey that much. And my mom, like, she was pretty much vegetarian. She just made a turkey for my dad in a lot of years. We didn't even have a turkey. Like, sometimes she made enchiladas. Sometimes she made, like, this tofu thing with mashed potatoes and gravy, and that was so good. And I was gonna go get some Gardein stuff, but really, I might in the morning. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I'm not sure how I feel yet. I'm just gonna gauge how I'm feeling. Mostly, I just wanted to make mashed potatoes and stuffing. Those were the big things. Make okay. Okay, I need to check on my little squashy squash. See how he's going along or coming along. Oh, they're cooking down very nicely. I'll let them cook for like an hour, maybe, because I just like to let them bake, shrivel down, and then I'll let them cool. I can't resist. It's just like, okay. I wasn't gonna do this again, but I just want another slice of salt. It's pretty good. I don't eat a lot of raw potatoes. I just anytime I do chop up raw potatoes, I always have to. Surprisingly, even though I don't love ground potatoes, I like a slice of raw brown potato more than I do red ones. That's one thing I do like about red versus brown potatoes. Um, but for like the baked stuff, I just feel like the red potato always has a better flavor. And I don't take the skin off because there's a lot of flavor in the skin. Plus, it's tasty to me. I just wash it off. Plus, they say that sometimes you get more B12 if you have some of the soil. Like, a little bit of soil is not going to hurt you. I'm not squeamish when it comes to food. Well, I'm squeamish about meat, but when it comes to vegetables, I eat pretty much everything except for lima beans. I don't like lima beans. I won't touch that. But everything else, I'm pretty game. Homegrown produce is just so much better. It's so much tastier. I wish I I had a little garden, but it's just too difficult when you live in an apartment. Like, there's not enough sunshine, in my opinion. But you can always try. Just I live on the shady side. And I don't know if you noticed, but you can see my hair. Like for everybody that likes hair, see how long it is while I'm chopping potatoes. I haven't been as active in the kitchen, but I don't mind being active in the kitchen. Just, I'm gonna make vegan food. I'm not gonna make meat, There's so much vegan shaming. Like people that eat meat, like you always think it's you always think it's like the hardcore vegan that shouldn't space like the meat eaters. Like, why are they so hardcore militant about their eating? I don't know. I'm just like, guys, don't be hardcore about what you eat. It makes you sound like a dumb doornail. My opinion. I'm just so tired of it. I'm like, grow up, have more diversity in your mindset. Not everybody wants to eat meat. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like I've just always been tolerant of what other people ate, but I would be a millionaire if I had $1 for every time. So it's like, oh my god, you don't eat meat. Just like, oh, no. And it's okay, because you can. If you want to eat meat, I'm not stopping you. And I don't, like, I just don't get it. Like, there's no independent thinkers. But I think that's kind of like, it's kind of like Republican versus Democrat, Libertarian, whatever. Like, people are just so polarized. They're like, this is the way to eat. This is the best way. No, that's the best way. And everybody's having a food fight, like a literal food fight. And yeah, a lot of the hardcore vegans later, they become carnivores. So I don't even care. Like, why do I care? Like, I'm not an activist. Like, look, I just grew up being semi-vegetarian. My mom wanted us to be full vegetarian, but I was more semi because it's like, I want to eat chicken. I want to fit in. So yeah, and I just remember growing up, it just bothered people so much. But even now, like, some people are still like, oh my gosh, like, you're not making meat. How could that be? Like, other people get it. Like, some people that have grown up in, like, around Loma Linda, California, like, if I guess if you grow up near a Sunday Adventist community, like here in California, it's not such a big deal. But I'm not a Sunday Adventist. See, that's the thing, though. If you don't eat meat, people are just like, they think you're Sunday Adventist or something. No, but my mom worked in Loma Linda for a while, so that's when she became like vegan for 5 years when I was really little, and then they went back to being more vegetarian because that just works for them. Even now, my mom and my dad, they eat like some cheese and butter, and I don't eat any of that. But they drink almond milk. And it's funny because my dad started drinking almond milk in 2013, actually. And he said it was better on his stomach. And then I took the 23andMe test and I found out, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. And I'm sure he is too. So go figure. So they drink almond milk, but they like butter and stuff. So I don't know. What could I tell you? I personally don't. I don't do the dairy thing. Not my thing. I think dairy's like, okay, that's another thing too. Sometimes vegetarians like, or people who think they're making you something vegetarian back when you were vegetarian, like I never liked the dairy. And they would like give you a grilled cheese sandwich or something with a whole bunch of dairy and you're like, oh, that's gross. Or you would just tell someone, oh, I don't really like cheese, and they're like, oh, that's the best part of the meal. Like, I don't like cheese. Like, it's okay. It'll be okay. I promise. Like, you'll live for me not liking cheese. So I'm just talking about what I like, I guess. I kind of like really get into coffee after a while. I have a lot of time. It's one of my favorite things. Like I could really chop something very finely if I wanted to. It would take time, but it just looks so beautiful and it feels so zen. It really does. Mm. Zen. Hmm. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I have more potatoes to chop. I know this says making just baking the kabocha squash, but it's gonna take like an hour to bake it. And they are baking down, as I see. They're getting nice and melty. Oh, again. Still has something on it. I know there's got on more stuff on it. I don't know, just part of the I don't put on there. Wash it off. How we doing in there, guys? We're roasting. We're hanging out. Roasted. You're roasting us. Yes, I'm roasting you. Just squash. You are a cute, cute little Japanese pumpkin. I just love like a little squash. I don't know. Because I was thinking, okay, I would sometimes get a big pumpkin. Like, I wouldn't buy it, but my mom and dad, like, when they'd visit pre-COVID times, they used to love to bring me a big pumpkin, okay? And I'd be like, what am I going to do with this? Like a big giant pumpkin, like why? And I'd cook it and be nice, but it would be so overwhelming. So I bought these two little squashes. They're just so nice. Like, that's very nice because I don't usually buy big produce for myself. It's just, my parents are actually very thoughtful that way. They always worry about me having like, enough food. So in that way, yes. It's very nice. I'm thankful that I have good. I'm thankful that I'm loyal to the hilt. I love my loyalty. That's what I love about myself. I love my consistency. I love the way I see the world. I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for my best friend. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful that I feel like I've reached more clarity in things. Like, I'm thankful that I'm a truth seeker. I'm thankful for all that. And not to get, like, I don't believe, like, in being religious, but I say blessed are the truth seekers because they know the truth about life and they believe in themselves, and you should always, like, believe in yourself. Like, anybody that would ever try to make you doubt anything about yourself or tell you that you're not cool enough, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're all about truth seeking, loyalty, and those are the things I'm thankful for. People like that. They're a strong cookie in that concept. I just love it. I love loyalty people. They're like the best. earth. I love my best friend. I love my family. Like, such good people in my life. Like, I just have really good people. And I feel really thankful. Because I feel like lately, okay, sometimes I think, like, why are things like this nowadays? I'm like, you know what, though? When you're in your house, when you're at home, who cares, like, what's going on out there and what's going on out there? Let that go on. When you're at home, you can have as much fun as you want. And I want to have fun for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. I just want to have fun. And my dad always says that, too. He goes, like, when I go on these crazy shopping trips with him, and we would do these very Syrian things, okay? Syrians are generous people. So my dad said one day, let's go buy burritos at Del Taco and give them to homeless people. And we did that. And it was, he's just that kind of guy. Like, he is super generous, like, to everybody. And sometimes it used to bother me as a kid. I'd be like, why? Like, and then I found out it's because of his grandma. Like, she basically would, I don't know, take people in. I think, like, some of their cousins and stuff. Like, somebody was living with them for a while. She just seemed like a really nice, generous person. And just when I've talked to, like, Syrian people, they're generous. Like, they're giving other time. Like, they don't delineate things. And I think I grew up with that mindset that you can achieve a lot. And I think I've actually achieved a lot in my life. Like, you can be like a go-getter to the hilt and back and achieve a lot, but you're generous with your time. Like, you don't list out, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And, like, I guess, like, Vietnamese people are kind of like that too, because my best friend, like, she just accomplishes so much. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, I'm the most go-getter in the world, but, you know, I've done a lot of things with my life. I went to school. I paid my own way in life. I've done that all myself, you know? But, like, my best friend, like, she also has done so much, but, like, if she was busy, she would tell you, but she wouldn't be like, oh, like, she wouldn't be listing everything out that she was doing. I'm just so impressed when people, like, they can bring point it and they push themselves to do more and more every day. Because I do. I don't know, like, some people, they see it, but, like, in everything I do, I work really, really hard. And I put a lot of myself into things, and I'll push myself to the brink to get something done, to do something right, to accomplish something. And, like, when I do customer service and things like that, I go out of my way, like, just above and beyond, like, really. Like, it's not about me, it's about them at that time. And also, like, when I do other things, I just, like, really like that mindset. And I think that came from my dad's side of the family. I do. I think even though when I was younger, kind of annoyed me. I Yeah, it's something I really like, you know. It's really good thing, beautiful, and I'm thankful for that. But, you know, everybody can do whatever they want. I realize that core value in myself, and I really like that. And I guess I just gravitate to when people are like that, and I just really love it. Like, just go above and beyond, push yourself to bring points, and don't, like, list it out. Don't list out what you're doing for somebody, because I think about a lot of people in the world. I'm not saying you have to do charity work, but just, like, if you want to do something, do it because you want to. Like, don't list it out. You know, like, I don't know. Anyway, this is just my train of thought here, and I'm kind of, like, all about the future right now. Like, I think about the past too much, but, like, I don't know. I'm really, like, just becoming future focused, because it's not in a sense that, oh, this is what's going to happen now worldwide. I'm thinking about, like, for myself, like in the next 4 or 5 years, I really want to do more creative things. I want to do things with this channel. A lot of people, like, you know, I think that's great how Other people do YouTube. Some people really like, look, occasionally I do an edited video, right? But I spent a little bit of time editing a video the other day, like, that was kind of artistic and fun. And it really didn't get that many views anyway, so I don't know, like, I'm not saying I won't do edited videos, but when I do it, it's not like those are my most viewed video every time. Like, sometimes they are, but a lot of times they aren't. So I like doing live streams. I don't feel like I have to edit myself constantly. It's like, okay, I guess that's really popular in the world of YouTube. People who love to edit themselves, but I'm not a television show. This YouTube channel is just me having fun, sharing my life, sharing how I do long hair. And I really think that's how I came to terms with it, because at first I was just sharing videos of like styling my hair, and I would have people coming to my channel saying, oh, well, you need to like do a video like this person who shows DIYs on like some sort of hair serum or I don't know, some sort of hair mask. But then I thought about it one day, I don't really do a hair mask at all. Like, all my life, I had thick and starting to have long hair, but I didn't do like a hair mask. Like, what was I doing? I think one thing I really attribute to, part of it's genetics, another part of it's eating healthy, part genetics, part eating healthy. Like, you have to look at the whole structure of it, because I think there's going to be people with really fine hair that, or their hair doesn't grow to a certain length, and they're going to get disappointed because somebody will sell them a product and say, this is going to make your hair grow like a Rapunzel. And when it doesn't, like, they're like, why do I have a different result than the other person? Like, I think you have to just look at your family. Like, if people in your family have a harder time, I mean, it could be what you're doing to your hair. A lot of it's how you treat your hair. Part of it's genetics. Part of it's diet. Part of it's how you treat your hair. Now, I've always put like this Yves Rocher coconut oil in my hair, like all my life. Like, that's something I've done for years. And I think that helped my hair grow. But I think also, too, it's when I got older and I started taking better care of my hair and wearing it in a braid. Like, some people, some people could wear their hair loose, let it get tangled, whatever, and their hair would be fine. But I just learned over time, my hair can tangle very easily. And I didn't like, even when my hair was like to here, maybe like 10 years ago, I would find, oh my gosh, I can't get through a knot in the back of my hair. And I think one day I just kind of accepted it or something, because I was like, oh, my hair is so thick, like, you won't be able to see it. Because I was just like, I got tired of working the knot. But then I realized, no, like, I finally got it out later, but I started realizing a lot of it had to do with how I was treating my hair at the time. I started realizing, well, are you wearing your hair loose, Julia? Like, when I don't mean down, but like loose, like not pulled back, not in a braid. So then I started going back to wearing my hair in a braid like all the time. And I just found that worked better for me. But everybody has a different hair type. So I don't know. So I knew I was never going to be one of those YouTubers that would be good at having like a DIY or anything, because I didn't really do that. And then, okay, I know, like, I have learned over time it's better not to use shampoo with silicones and sulfates. And I know, like, yes, I really like those more natural shampoos now that I've become acquainted with them. But I'd be a liar if I didn't say I never used like cheaper conditioner shampoo. And there's actually, sometimes you can go to the Dollar Tree and I found a sulfate and paraben-free shampoo there the other day. And I'm going to use it. Sometimes the cheaper product's not bad. I mean, it might not be ideal, but I don't know. It's not the best one, but I'm probably going to use it anyway and see how it works. And yeah, I think over time, just how I treated my hair has helped me grow it longer, really. But it's part genetics too, because if you tell people, oh, they can buy this hair serum or do this hair mask and their hair is going to start growing, that might not be true for them, you know? It might not. We don't know. Like, everybody has a different experience. So, and I was never like a hair, like, I started doing henna, and I think that did start, I feel like that started making my hair grow a lot, but I don't do it all the time. I do it like every few months or something. I did henna oil the other day. Like, I've done that a little bit more often, but not all the time even. But I feel like coconut oil, like for me. But here's the thing. I have thicker hair. My mom has finer hair, but lots of it. She said that occasionally she put a little bit of coconut oil in her hair, but it would weigh it down. I don't know where I got this intuitiveness for it. I think it's because I was watching, it like started when I was around 13, Me on the Bounty, and I noticed, like, I was like, oh my gosh, the Minoan oil. Is it? I love Mutiny on the Bounty. I am so obsessed with Mutiny on the Bounty. Okay, the 1962 version of Mutiny on the Bounty is not historically accurate, but that is my favorite movie. And you can see the chemistry between Tarita Brando and Marlon Brando. Although, God, he treated her like shit. Like, she loved him, like, from the get-go. And he was probably attracted to her, but yeah, he never, Marlon Brando, he's famous. Like, he had lots of wives and girlfriends and whatever. But you could see the chemistry between them. And in that movie, it's just so beautiful because, like, you could tell, like, how much, like, most actresses, when you see them, like, they're just actresses. But with this, like, you're like, oh my gosh, like, she loves them. And, like, when they did, it's a very fictionalized scene, but she's like, the real Fletcher Christian came back to get her. But in this 1962 version, he's like sitting down in the ship, and he hasn't come ashore to see her. But all the other guys are like, we're bringing our girlfriends, we're going to marry them, like, because they're on the run after the mutiny. And she goes looking for him, and he's like, I can't take you with me. I'm a depressed man because I'm mutiny. And she told him he's a pig and he needs to clean it all up. And you could just tell, like, oh my gosh, I don't think that was acting. That was her. Like, she was like, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do everything for you. Like, she was so committed to him, like, until the end of her life. But I just, why? He didn't deserve it. Like, he didn't deserve it because he never appreciated her. Like, I don't know. Or did he appreciate any of his wives? I don't know. He really didn't, but anyway, long story short, I really loved that movie. And what wasn't because of that scene or anything, but just Tahiti and just, oh, they put coconut oil in their hair. And I believe, I guess recently I'm hearing a lot of people have really bad results with coconut oil, but I was always like, coconut oil is the best thing for my hair. I actually loved Yves Rocher back when it used to be thick, real unrefined coconut oil, and then they kind of tweaked the formula, and I still use it, but it's more runny now. But I can take thick coconut oil and put it in my hair, and I don't rinse coconut oil out of my hair. I just keep applying more and more, and when I comb out my hair, I do a scalp rinse. Yeah, I don't, maybe it's because my hair is thicker and on the coarser side. Maybe that's why it works for me, but I would say I started really getting obsessed with coconut oil because of Meet Me on the Bounty, and I thought, like, all these things fell into place. Like, I was watching the movie one day when I was 13, and then I started looking at National Geographic, and I was like, oh my gosh, I found a story about how they came to find the mutineers, and they found some of them who had stayed in Tahiti, and they took them back to England for a trial, but that ship actually it was shipwrecked. Just like they ended up having to make little trips to, Indonesia, modern Indonesia, just like Fly had done when they let him off in the little ships during the mutiny. Oh my gosh. I love the 1962 version of Mutiny on the Bounty, and also, too, like, the dancing scenes. Okay. Oh, to Rita Brando. I'm just like, and she dances for Marlon Brando. So excited about that movie. And then I started talking to my dad because my grandpa was a history major, okay? And he said, yeah, in 1962, his dad took him to see that movie in Chicago. And every time I hear a story about somebody going to see that movie, Meet Me on the Bounty, I'm just like, it makes me really excited. I kind of just want to watch it. It's kind of campy. It was over budget, but it's a good movie. I don't know, like, okay, it's not historically accurate, but the Mel Gibson one, it's a little bit more historically accurate, but I don't really like the, okay, not that I love, okay, at least the Marlon Brando version of Fletcher Christian was more, I don't know, it was kind of melodramatic, but I could like Marlon Brando more as Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson as Fletcher Christian. Mel Gibson as Fletcher Christian, I just don't like him. And then, okay, it's just Creepers, like the 1984 version, like like, I get it, like, they don't speak English, but, like, I love how Rita Brando did it, where she's dancing, and then she's kind of being flirtatious with him, and she walks away, and then Marlon Brando's, like, following her, and then he hears giggling, and he finds her in the bushes, but in the 1984 version with Mel Gibson, I didn't really like it, because, like, she comes with her friends, the one that's playing Mamiti, and they're pointing at him, and he's like doing some work for the breadfruit plants, and he sees her, and she runs off, and he chases her, and like they don't have any interaction before that, but the first thing he does is like kiss her, and I'm just like, just doesn't do it for me. I'm just like, okay, you just met her. I get it. You guys don't speak the same language, but like you just kiss her, and that's like the first thing. And I guess like, I mean, we knew like in the 1962 version too, like, okay, they're gonna get it on, okay? You have a censor back then, but we knew it. But in the 84 version, I'm just like, and I didn't like Clark Gable. So like if we're gonna go back in time and talk about various versions of Meeting on the Bounty, I didn't see the one with Errol Flynn before that. It's a little bit before. I just haven't seen that one. But I did not like Clark Gable's version of Meet Me on the Bounty either, even though that one had some more historical accuracies in some way. Although the Bounty trilogy is not really historically accurate either. Gosh, I'm getting into all these books I really love. Like when I start talking about Meet Me on the Bounty, I feel like I'm 13 again. I'm just so excited about it. I almost want to watch it again, like for Thanksgiving. Like if you're, I don't know, you're looking for something new to watch. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Watch the 1962 version of Meet Me on the Bounty. I like it. Like if you like older films, it's pretty cool. I thought it was good. The 35 version with um Clark Gable, it's kind of weird because I guess it was mostly filmed in Catalina Island, and I guess there's still remnants of them filming that film there on Catalina Island. But I'm just checking on the spot. I'm gonna let them cook a little bit longer. But that one's just kind of weird because they filmed parts of it in Tahiti, but then the rest of it's filmed in Catalina Island, and I feel that movie doesn't know what it wants to be. I'm just not impressed with that one, but it's an older film. If you like Clark Gable, though, if you're into how masculine and manly Clark Gable is, you might like that one. But I really didn't like that one. I just like, no. But they need to do like when they start making movies again. I want another remake of Meet Me on the Bounty. I'm just like, can we do it historically accurate, but really good acting? You know what? I've seen all the versions because other people said everything was better than the 62 version. I don't care. I like the 62 version. That's my favorite one. It will always be my favorite one. Just because somebody else doesn't like something doesn't mean you can't like it, okay? Actually, Siskel and Ebert, I think they kind of did they maybe it was the 84 of Meet Me on the Bounty. I think I'm thinking of the wrong version. Anyways, just if you're looking for something new to watch, um, I highly recommend the 1962 version of Meet Me on the Bounty. I liked it. It's kind of fun too. It's kind of campy. I like things that are kind of campy because I feel like sometimes Marlon Brando takes himself too seriously. The results can be hilarious. But oh my gosh, the chemistry between Tarita Brando and Marlon Brando, you just see it there. You're like, you know, she's gonna get burned. You know, like, oh my gosh, like she just was so in love with him. Like, I don't know, like in real life, she did way too much for him, in my opinion. Like, she was there for him, like, and all sorts of weird scenarios. Like, Marlon Brando was a weirdo. I read his biography. At least he's honest. One thing about Marlon Brando is he's honest, and it's funny because everybody's talking now about like how Hollywood's racist. Marlon Brando said that like 25 years ago, and he was ostracized. Marlon Brando didn't go to the Academy Award because he felt like what was happening like with Native Americans needed more light, and he talked about it like at a time nobody was talking about it. Marlon Brando like was a millionaire, and he actually wanted to help you. Like he would get these grandiose ideas. Okay, I don't know, like maybe he was misguided, but he actually was really touched by a documentary he saw about starvation in India. And he gave money there. He would let people come stay on his island. It's really unfortunate though, like what happened with how well his one son, which was the half brother to, there's just a lot of misfortunes that were revolving around him, and a lot of his kids ended up having issues like him too. But the 1962 version of Meet Me on the Bounty, I really like that. I don't think anybody was commenting on this one. I'm still waiting on my squashy squash. What else? What else? Yeah, I'm going to go. And what is this that I need to do? Yeah, I need to look up the recipe for how to make a vegan gravy because I want to do that. And it's gonna just be fun. And I'm making what I want to make, like totally like I can make as many potatoes as I want and they can last a long time because I love potatoes, okay? If you don't like potatoes, don't make that many. But I love potatoes. So, and I don't know, maybe I'll go out and buy like, I don't even think I need to go buy like the Gardein roast because I was thinking, and I have like, if I wanted, I have a lot of Boca burgers, and it might not be like, I don't know, it's not gonna be like, oh, like a roast, a vegan roast, but I could cook these with it. I could do that. I definitely could do that. The sky's the limit, really. I could do anything I want to make. This year is a different year because I don't know, I always kind of would go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. Not doing that this year, like for the first time in my entire life. And that's okay. It's just because now of what the world is, like I respect my parents. They don't want to socialize with anybody at all, and that's okay. Um, I might have seen my other sister, but I guess she's just busy working, and also she had to move because she's having a lot of problems, I guess, with her house and stuff. It's being renovated, so I probably won't see her for a while. And yeah, I mean, nobody's really supposed to be traveling anyway, and I'm not like, I don't agree with the government telling people to do that. I think the government telling you to do that is just stupid. Like, I don't think you need to be told that. I think they can give out a health recommendation, and if you want to be careful, you're just going to be careful. That's what I'm going to do. But I guess where I kind of get, because I'm being careful, I don't know. I don't want to like obsess about, well, are these people being careful? Because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. And sometimes you're like, okay, you go to the grocery store and people start drinking and eating inside the grocery store and they take off their masks. They're walking around the grocery store. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they haven't seen the news. Maybe they're just not aware of what's going on in the world. I really don't know. Like, I'm just surprised they can't wait 10 minutes to be outside of the store to eat a snack or drink water or something. But whatever, they just are an extreme need to do that in a crowd. I don't, like, I'm not gonna police them. I personally, like, it's hard to, like, work with a mask on. It's not easy. Anybody who says it is, like, maybe for them it is, but a lot of people, like me, I always kind of would breathe more through my mouth than my nose. And after wearing a mask for several hours, I feel extremely overheated. And I just feel like my nose is clogged up, like, all the time. And I guess some people, they're like, well, that's a sacrifice you have to make. And I'm not going to not wear a mask when it's recommended, but I don't know if 100% that is like this going to. I mean, so far, I've been testing negative, so it's probably a good idea. I don't like wearing a mask, but if I could have my way, I would love to just start making more money independently where I don't have to be wearing a mask all the time, where I could work from home. It'd be a lot easier for me. Honestly, I'd enjoy life a lot more. I really would. That's kind of my thought, but that's not reality. Like, wearing a mask is not enjoyable at all. I'm honest about it. Like, a lot of people are not. So I can kind of see other people's view where they say they don't want to wear a mask. I'm going to wear it anyway. But just to hate on people because they don't, I don't know. And another thing too, like, I want to be careful. I'm not going to go into crowds, but I do think that maybe we shouldn't be judging everybody, because the people who are telling people not to do that, they have dinner parties, and they get caught. It's not like they said that they did. They didn't want you to know that they did that. They just have been doing it the whole time. And if somebody did it once, like, they did it other times, and I don't really care. You want to spend $500 on a plate of food? Be my guest. That's fine. I think you could make it better things. But hey, they're politicians. They do that. There's so much divisiveness. I'm just like, ugh, I'm so over politics. I mean, I do follow some of the libertarian people, but in general, I'm just like, really? I don't feel like we're entering a golden era, because nothing was good about this. See, if things get a little bit better, great, but it might get worse economically. Be honest with yourselves, okay? The more you shut things down, it is going to have an economic impact. Like, there was some guy seeing me on TikTok that he hoped his store would be shut down so people wouldn't be able to shop. I was thinking, okay, well, that is interesting, because don't you make money working at that store? I don't know where you think money is going to come from and who's going to produce things. Like, I don't know if people realize this, that, yeah, we need a social distance, but if you shut more and more things down, there's going to be a problem with the supply chain. And already, like, you go to some stores, they're like, we might not get a truck on Friday. We might not get this. Like, that's going to happen more and more. And you're going to begin to see things happening in the United States that happen in what people call third world countries, and people are bewildered by these things. But I can't necessarily say the economy is going to get better under this new era. People are so, I don't know, but it's the whole fickle pickle thing. Like, oh my God, 1 year I like this thing, 1 year I like the other thing. There's no consistency. Being consistent is everything. Like, if you change your mind and you shift with the winds, and then somebody says something on the news and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a new thing, that's how we're supposed to feel now. It's funny, because I'm sure, like, okay, a lot of people, like, I never would have voted for Donald Trump. Like, You want my honest opinion? He's a clumper. That's what I think. I'm sorry. There's nothing endearing about him to me. Like, if you like him, whatever. But he's a clumper. He says a lot of weird things. I didn't think he was endearing. But I wasn't one of these people that spent my everyday before he was president or after he was president, like obsessing about everything he did. The economy was better under him, but I don't think it was because of him. I think it was just because, hey, there's less regulation. Less regulation helps economic growth. That's all. Republicans, people who advised him, not him, suggested that they thought less regulation would be a good thing, even though he is very statist and he did waste a lot of money, like that wall. That wall, what a waste of money that was. But every politician from Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton to Donald Trump have supported border walls. And I liked the idea of open borders before it was a popular thing. Like, I kind of thought that made sense. Like, let people freely move. Like, but I kind of have grabbed onto some ideas that are not always mainstream. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to change their mind every 5 years. And there were people that voted for Donald Trump, and then like 4 years later, he's basically the same guy. I mean, he flip-flops a lot. Whoever he's talking to is what is the driving force behind him. But he didn't change. He's still the same brash guy he was 5 years ago. He was saying racist things like when he was running for office, like really super racist things. Actually, what was the most racist thing he ever said? Oh, that Barack Obama wasn't born in the United States. I didn't really like him. He did that. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of thought, what a jerk. So, like, okay, I don't love him, okay? But I just dismissed him. Like, I was like, what's this? What's this? I don't get it, because there's people that I thought actually had some good ideas, like Ross Perot, who were dismissed and like kind of just like brushed aside. And he actually had some good ideas, but he was dismissed. But then there's somebody like Donald Trump, because he had a show on TV. Like, there were people that voted for him 4 years ago, and then all of a sudden they don't like him anymore. And I'm like, you know what? You guys flip flop. And I'm not trying to like criticize anybody, but I think it's just because, okay, you see something on TV, it's whatever, like they're saying on TV, and people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, we have to be with that. And then they start criticizing him, and now there were people that supported him, and they're like, oh my gosh, he isn't good, he's on the way out. And I don't know, it's going to, a year from now, they're going to have a different opinion. So at the end of the day, does any of that really matter? Like, I feel like you should vote, but I feel like it should be the ideas that our country should care about are more important than the personalities. Like, for instance, I don't know, don't glorify any politician, because look, our governor says one thing and he does another. Okay, am I surprised? Not really. So don't glorify, like, you could hate one and think they're scummy, but the new one that's coming in is having like little celebrations too. He might say, oh, we're doing it in cars, and or we're doing it social distancing. But here's another thing too that I hate about this whole drive-through like holiday event, or drive through this, or go out to your car and do something. A lot of people don't drive. Okay, they don't drive. And the big thing that used to be, I should stir my potatoes and check on them, that used to be in our culture was that they were wanting to have more sustainable transportation and public transportation. So a lot of people don't drive, and they can't go out to their car to do something. Some people don't want to own a car. Some people just want to take Uber. Some people want to take a bus. It shouldn't matter how people want to get around, right? But like, literally, that's one thing they tell people now is, oh, you could go out to your car to fill out an application or something. And what if you don't have a car? It's like, that's the whole thing now. Or like all these drive-through events, like the drive-through this, the drive-through that. It's very car-centric, when we were always about like promoting public transportation. That was supposed to be the big good thing. Like the train coming to our town was supposed to be the great big thing, the great thing. Everybody's like, this is such a good for our carbon footprint. Okay, let's talk consistency. This is where we get fickle pickle. Remember how everybody was talking about the environment and being more environmentally friendly and caring about the environment? Well, at first when they were telling people that they should start wearing plastic gloves all the time and more face masks, like even I had some disposable face masks, but I'm starting to have like a big problem with wearing those because I'm like, that is just waste that's going into the landfill. So it went from like, oh, let's recycle to people saying, oh, those people bringing in your reusable bags, that's germy. Like, what if they have COVID on them? Like, I literally would see people put that in a forum. So we went from like a few years ago passing an initiative in California where you had to start buying the trash bag, and they said that that was going to cut down on waste in the oceans. Well, now you'll be walking along, and in the storm drain in the wash, you see plastic gloves, hand sanitizer, hand wipes, all sorts of things like that. So we keep changing our minds. So I feel like, I don't know, like, I get it, like, you want to clean, but, and I clean too, but I clean with vinegar. I don't feel like I need to clean with all these harsh products or, like, always wear plastic gloves, like, and I feel like we don't talk, like, it went from, oh, we care about the environment to, and there's a lot of people, like, they don't drive, like, I guess you don't get to see a light display if you don't drive, like, too bad for you. Oh, like, you don't drive, you can't do this. Like, it's so car centric now. And like, it used to be like people would look down upon somebody saying, I like my car. I always want to be in my car. And then they'd be like, well, we want more environmental, like, transportation. But now they're like saying, don't take it too long. Like, minimize how long you're on it. Like, yes, I know it's like for COVID reasons, yes. But nobody acknowledges how rapidly these things are changing, you know. Oh, being social is so good for you. Another thing they used to say is it's really bad for you to be on like your phone all the time. Like, social media is bad. You don't want to be on it too much. I kind of always took that with a grain of salt because I felt like it's the kind of social media you're using. And yes, you should put your phone away sometimes. Like, if you're texting nonstop, yeah, you should put it down. Like, it should go to nighty night land sometimes. Like, don't be constantly on your phone. It should be like, put it to bed sometimes. Like, you don't need to constantly look at it. That's kind of my thing. Like, I'm not constantly like, oh my gosh, my phone, I need to be on it. Like, I don't need it that bad. Like, I feel like it's not the end all and be all. Like, can you go 17 hours without looking at your phone? I can. Like, sometimes I do. And people will be like, well, I texted you. And I'll be like, well, oh my squash. Wasn't like sitting by my phone all the time. Yeah, so but they used to say that, and then now they're like, well, you can socialize online, and then but then there's a disconnect. We're not acknowledging that they used to say socializing was so good for you, getting out, doing this, when they're saying it's just like everything changed so rapidly, but nobody acknowledged that, oh, that's kind of inconsistent. That might like throw people off mentally. They didn't acknowledge that. And I feel like that's the thing that makes people, okay, I don't want to go out and puppy pile in a crowd, but that is the kind of like inconsistent thinking that is making people go out and protest the curfew in Huntington Beach. Like, look, I'm not part of that crowd. I don't want to be there because honestly, I don't want to get COVID. Like, I'm trying to be safe. I'm trying to be safe because you don't want to get COVID. My friend works at the hospital and she said, like, yeah, she's seen some bad cases. You don't want to get it, okay? And that's not something I want to gamble with personally. I'm not going to take that risk. But you have this inconsistency, and like we could have just acknowledged some of that and had more of a calm discussion about it. But you know what? Let them have it. Let both sides have it. And I say, ah, when you're at home, you don't have to be a part of that, which is a good thing. And yeah, you can reconnect with being a homebody, which isn't bad. I guess that's another thing too. Like, I kind of had taken a break from cooking for a while because like I was working more and I was busy a lot. I didn't always feel like cooking all the time, and I always used to do like little cooking vlogs and like DIYs and things like that. But it seems like all of a sudden when the quarantine happened, like people were like, "Oh, I'm cooking, I'm doing this," which I thought that's great. I'm really happy for people, but a lot of us, like, we always did things like that in the past, and Like, it wasn't anything new, I guess, but I'm happy for people if they rediscovered or discovered something for the first time. But I just didn't get like all of that because like sometimes I would eat out, but it wasn't such a big part of my life. And eating out is such a big part of people's budgets. I think there's going to be a reconfiguring of the economy to some extent. Because the ads you see now are more for like, oh, you can buy this cookware, you can buy this product to help you cook something at home. Like the economy is just changing. Anyway, I find economics interesting, but I kind of want to look at it from a non like confrontational perspective. And I'm going to stir the potatoes and stir them. I want to get some stuff ready. I'm going to look at a recipe. I have some raw potato. A recipe I can make for a stuffing. So I have my mushrooms. I'm going to cut some of them up. What are my squash is doing? I know. We're sizzling. Sizzling. Let them a little bit longer. Oh, wait, I already have that one open. All right then. So I think let's see. And some more of those mushrooms off. They're pink. Look. towel again. Constantly rinsing my fingers off. Okay. I think maybe it's done. Let's see. Squashes are they've been in there long enough. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I want. Once it's cooked, that's what I wanted. Okay, that's why I like doing this. This is so fun. Look, it's working again. I'm thankful. Let's look at the other one. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. This really cooked them. And it kind of caramelizes them on their own. So this has been my technique. Like I just scoop everything out. See, it's all cooked like that. You didn't have to cut it or anything. And it smells really good. And then like the seeds, I want to roast them because there'll be some seeds inside and it can be like a snack. And I need to still look up my recipe for making the mushroom gravy. And yeah, I feel like I just want to cook. Doing a lot of cooking. I want to eat a raw mushroom.